Good evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. I'm Rihanna Nakram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. President Ali says Guyana must monetize its gas by 2030 as Berbice takes center stage in the country's industrial transformation. An expression of interest will soon be issued for the Rose Hall Airstrip upgrade, part of plans to make Berbice a major hub for transport, trade, and agro-industry. New public servants will now undergo mandatory anti-corruption and governance training as part of Ghana's push to strengthen integrity across the public sector. And two sisters from Betsy Ground, East Kanji, are set to become the first in their family to graduate from the University of Guyana, a milestone built on sacrifice, faith, and determination. The government says Berbice will be at the heart of Ghana's next wave of industrial growth, powered by gas from the Stabroek block, estimated at 17 trillion cubic feet. President Dr. Irfan Ali made the announcement at the inaugural Berbice Development Summit 2025, which brought together investors, technical experts, and global industry leaders.
And importantly for the consortium at Stabroek, the option must lead to monetization before 2030. I am not willing to push monetization beyond 2030. Constitutionally, I have an election in 2031 and I can't run again. And I'm not leaving this decision for anyone after me.
According to Ali, Ghana must monetize its gas resources by 2030. He stressed that any option that delays that goal will not have his support. The president called for stronger partnerships between government, the private sector, and communities to build what he described as the Berbice ecosystem. Berbice transformation, he explained, is part of Ghana's broader integration with Brazil and the rest of South America. Major infrastructure projects are already in motion, including a deep water port, a new Berbice River Bridge, a 4-lane highway from Molson Creek to New Amsterdam, 2 Hope-like canals, and a Quarantine River Bridge linking Ghana and Suriname.
We are looking to unlock a potential that would also incentivize the gas from Suriname to be added so that they can also have a shorter journey to monetization. Of course, with the exploration that is taking place, we are hopeful that there will be even more gas that can continue to build out this infrastructure. That is why the Berbice area and the infrastructure we are building there is for the long term.
Dr. Ali said ideas from the Berbice Development Summit will inform discussions at the Ghana Energy Conference in February, where final investment decisions are expected. He thanked investors and partners for the confidence in Ghana's growth trajectory, reiterating that gas development must create jobs, tangible opportunities, and strengthen the country's role as a key regional player. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal has defended the government's decision to pay the legal fees of foreign lawyers representing the state in the extradition case against gold dealers Nazar and Azuddin Mohammed.
In extradition proceedings, the request comes from a foreign state. In this case, it is the U.S. government. The lawyers who are prosecuting this request are representing the interest of the United States under international extradition law and practice, under comity and reciprocity which govern extradition processes across the globe. The country to whom the request is made discharges the obligation of providing that legal counsel.
He said the decision to engage foreign attorneys was to ensure transparency and avoid any perception of political interference.
In this case, because we wanted to avoid and insulate the process from the allegation of political interference, lawyers from outside of Guyana were brought in with the approval of the U.S. government. And yes, the government of Guyana has to pay for that.
Documents from the Ministry of Home Affairs confirmed that the government approved a payment of US $62,558.78 to Jamaican King's Counsel Terrence Williams for representing the state in October. Attorneys Herbert McKenzie and Celine Deirdrick were also retained for their experience in regional extradition matters. The U.S. Department of State's Foreign Affairs manual notes that the country receiving the extradition request, in this case Guyana, usually covers such costs. The Mohammeds were arrested in Georgetown on October 31st, following a U.S. extradition request. They were granted bail and ordered to surrender their passports. The case continues on November 24th when the court will decide if there are sufficient grounds for extradition on 11 charges, including conspiracy, money laundering, and customs fraud tied to a U.S. $50 million gold scheme. Returning to the Berbice Development Summit, President Dr. Irfan Ali indicates during his opening remarks yesterday the development plans for the Rose Hall Airstrip are being finalized, and expressions of interest for the project will soon be issued.
Converting the Rose Hall Airstrip into a municipal airport, and we are now finalizing the document, and soon we'll be going out for an expression of interest in relation to this. We want to ensure that our investment lead to Guyana becoming the world's hottest destination.
The president said the upgraded airstrip will form part of a wider infrastructure network to transform Berbice.
First thing is that you must get the infrastructure right. That is why we're building the connection to northern Brazil.
Dr. Ali reminded similar airport upgrades are planned for Lethem and Ana Regina. He said these projects aim to boost air transport while positioning Guyana as a leading destination for agro-processing and food production. By strengthening logistics and connectivity, the president said, Guyana is laying the groundwork to become a global hub for value-added agriculture. The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GBHC, has successfully completed 28 joint replacement surgeries in 3 days, exceeding its target in the national drive to reduce the backlog of orthopedic cases. From November 7 to 9, the orthopedic department, led by Dr. Kalishwar Ramcharan, performed 18 knee and 10 hip replacements on 22 women and 6 men. Each procedure, valued at up to $2.5 million privately, was done free of charge. This brings GBHC's total joint replacements for 2025 to 136, all conducted by Guyanese specialists. The hospital says it demonstrates a growing national capacity for advanced surgical care. Dr. Ramcharan said the initiative focuses on transforming lives, as many patients had long endured chronic pain and mobility issues. All 28 patients have been discharged and are recovering well. When returned, anti-corruption training for public servants, cattle and rice farmers clash over land in Region 6, and a fresh take on healthy cooking with local ingredients.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Welcome back. Government will be offering integrity training for public servants. Persons entering Guyana's public service will now receive mandatory anti-corruption and governance training as part of the induction process. Announcement was made by Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gil Teixeira, during the launch of the government's anti-corruption roundtable at the Pegasus Suites in Georgetown yesterday.
The access to the services for the public, equitable access, easy access, reduction of long delays is a critical part of reducing and preventing corruption in the government circles.
Teixeira noted that successive governance reforms since 1992 have included measures such as the Procurement Act of 2003 and the Audit Act of 2004. Both aimed at strengthening oversight within the public sector. She pointed to the digitization of government services, including the single-window housing application system and the Public Service Commission's online portal, as initiatives intended to increase transparency and efficiency. The minister highlighted recent audit results, noting that the data points to measurable progress in financial recovery and compliance across government agencies.
We're very happy that full recovery of overpayments for 3 consecutive years, 2022, 23, and 24, was achieved, and that is setting a new benchmark for accountability. And so the Auditor General's report this year, you can now, by data, measure the progress Guyana has made.
Minister Teixeira concluded that modernizing systems and strengthening institutions remain central to Ghana's anti-corruption agenda, and that collaboration between government, civil society, and the private sector is vital to ensure lasting accountability. Cattle farmers in Blackbush Polder Region 6 are calling for government help as grazing lands in the Cookrat Savannah become increasingly scarce. Farmers say areas once set aside for livestock are now being used for rice cultivation, leaving them struggling to feed their herds. During a recent community meeting, they urged authorities to step in and reclaim the lands for cattle rearing. In response, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa acknowledged their concerns and ordered immediate occupational survey of the Cookrat Savannah.
I agree that the cattle owner got to get land here. That's supposed to be a communal pasture, not individual pasture or individual thing. You understand? Everybody can go there. So I will raise it back with the land and survey persons, and let me see if we can get the lease to change. Right? Because agriculture, rice fall under agriculture, cow fall under agriculture, and all that livestock.
Staff from the Ghana Livestock Development Authority and the Ghana Rice Development Board have been instructed to conduct a survey and present their findings within a week. The minister said the goal is to restore the Cookrat Savannah to its original use as a communal pasture, ensuring fair access for cattle farmers and preventing further land conflicts between livestock and crop producers. The Ministry of Health has launched a new initiative to help Guyanese make healthier food choices through simple traditional recipes. The Call for Cooking for Healthy Living recipe book, developed by the Ministry's Food Policy Division, was launched at the Guyana in Georgetown. Speaking during the launch, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the publication supports the government's efforts to fight chronic diseases like diabetes and hypertension.
Why is this important? We're seeing a lot more people in Guyana with chronic non-communicable diseases. We're seeing, and that's a broad term for things like high blood pressure, things like heart disease, things like diabetes. And in fact, we probably have maybe about 30,000 persons in Guyana that are coming to our institutions for diabetes. And if one thing is to diagnose them and to work with them on their treatment, but if they're not controlled, then inevitably they'll have complications.
The recipe book features nutritious, low-cost meals using local ingredients, encouraging families to reduce sugar and processed foods. Dr. Andy said the guide offers practical steps households can take to live longer, healthier lives.
If you use plain water, well, somehow that reflects poverty, and you're poor, and you can't afford maybe to buy a soft drink. But that's not it. If you use plain water, it is healthier than having soft drink. And we need to start having that conversation where people can make intelligent choices. And I think a lot of times people's behavior is driven because they don't have the information at their disposal. And so with this simple launch, we're hoping that we can start getting people to think about what they eat, to think about what they drink.
The minister congratulated the Food Policy Division for its years of work and urged citizens to try the recipes at home, noting that better nutrition means better health for all. Two young women from Betsy Ground, East Kanji, Berbice, Devika and Nandini Baljit, will soon make history in their family as the first to graduate from the University of Guyana. For the sisters, success was never handed to them. It was built on the sacrifices of their parents and their own determination to rise above every obstacle. Devika, now 23, says her journey wasn't easy. Long days of labs, assignments, and the challenges of living away from home often left her exhausted, but her parents' support kept her going.
Graduating within 2 weeks, this moment feels so unreal. Like, this degree is not just a paper, like people would like to say. It's more of a reflection of my hard work, something that I've prayed for. And during this journey just took everything out of me. But it's like, it's made me realize I had strength that I didn't even know that I had. It just feels so unreal. It's not just a moment for me alone, but for my entire family.
From their quiet home in the countryside, her parents believed in her, even when others questioned sending a young girl to study far away from home in the capital city, Georgetown.
I would say that my mom sacrifices, like, that woman never, like, did her nail, her hair, or up to now, go to a salon and spoil herself. She just keep making all these sacrifices so that we could have a proper tertiary education. She just invests in our future.
Their dad sold his most loved cows to cover the university fees, and the girls could not be more thankful to him for believing in them.
Even though we come from Betsy Ground, the countryside, he would have to believe in me for me to move to Georgetown to study. Because growing up in the countryside, a lot of people like to say about your young girl child, you're sending her out to study. So I would say that he believed in me and trusted me the most.
Devika's younger sister, Nandini, aged 20, took a different path, pursuing a bachelor's degree in accountancy, inspired by her big sister's determination. For Nandini, classes were mostly online, but that brought its own challenges.
Challenges with internet issues and frequent blackout. But my mom, she bought me a backup battery just so that I can do my exams without getting problems with the internet, getting kicked out of the exams. So that would help me. And then I had back-to-back assignments to complete too. But I tried to manage them. She told me there's no shortcut in success. It comes through hard work.
Though apart, the sisters stayed connected, encouraging each other through every assignment and every tough moment. Now, as graduation day approaches, the Baljit family prepares for a moment they've dreamed of. Two daughters walking across the stage, side by side as university graduates. Their journey is a reminder that hard work and an excellent support system truly make all the difference. When we come back, a new Harmony Club opens at St. Gabriel's. Barcelona runs out a messy return, and England captain Ben Stokes fired up ahead of the Ashes.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
You're watching Night News on 6 at 6. Thanks for staying with us. The Ethnic Relations Commission, ERC, opens its second Harmony Club at St. Gabriel's Primary School. The club's launch in partnership with the Ministry of Education encourages unity, respect, and cooperation among students through interactive activities that promote positive behavior, inclusion, and cultural awareness. Teachers at St. Gabriel's Primary, Tilia Fraser, explained how the program will be implemented at the school.
We are planning to reach with the children every Wednesday from 12:30 to 1 so that we can have them learn about the togetherness, unity, and promote love, respect, because I believe that children need to learn these things at an early age so that as adults, whenever that time's come for them to learn and appreciate other culture and accept persons for who they are.
Fraser added students are excited to get started, highlighting that the overall goal of the Harmony Club is to build a culture of understanding, teamwork, and respect among young learners.
They're so excited because, it's a time for them to come together, build friendships, and I think that, with my skills and my creativity, they're going to love it.
With St. Gabriel's now part of the initiative and 8 more schools soon to follow, the Harmony Club continues to spread the message of peace, respect, and togetherness among the nation's youth. In sports, Barcelona President Joan Laporta has ruled out a return for Lionel Messi, calling it unrealistic, but expressed a desire to hold a tribute match for the club's all-time top scorer. According to the BBC, Messi, 37, made a surprise visit to the new camp last week, saying he hoped to return not just to say goodbye as a player. Laporta told Cataluna Radio that while speculation about Messi rejoining the club is unfounded, he believes that the Argentine deserves a proper farewell after his 2021 departure to Paris Saint-Germain amid Barcelona's financial turmoil. Now playing for Inter Miami, where he recently extended his contract until 2028, Messi remains one of the football's most decorated players. Laporta said the club plans to honor him once the renovated new camp reopens, envisioning the best tribute in the world before 105,000 fans. Messi scored 672 goals in 778 games for Barcelona, winning 10 La Liga titles and 4 Champions Leagues. England captain Ben Stokes has vowed that his team will go balls to the wall in their only warm-up match before the Ashes, dismissing criticism for has-beens over their limited preparation. The BBC has reported that England will face the England Lions in a 3-day game in Perth starting Thursday, ahead of the first test at Optus Stadium on November 21st. Stokes said the squad has been preparing for months and will be ready despite the unconventional build-up, consistent with the previous overseas tours under him and coach Brendan McCullum, all of which began with first test victories. Speaking for the first time since a shoulder injury in July, Stokes addressed his fitness, backed Ollie Pope at number 3 and laughed off media hype around his arrival in Perth. England trained lightly at Lilac Hill today with batters and spinners participating while pace bowlers rested after a heavy session yesterday. Still ahead, Maduro issues warning U.S. strikes spark G7 concerns, and indigenous protesters clash at COP30. Welcome back. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has warned that his movement, Chavismo, would launch an intersectionary general strike if the United States undertakes military action against his government, according to El Nacional. Speaking to leaders of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela and its youth wing, Maduro said the Venezuelan working class would paralyze the nation's productive sectors until Chavismo is returned to power, in the event of a coup or foreign intervention. He declared that any imperialist attack would trigger immediate mobilization and combat operations by the people. Maduro's warning comes amid escalating tensions between Venezuela and the United States, as international observers expressed concern about the country's political stability and the potential for foreign interference. In international news, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio may face questions from allies over U.S. military operations in the Caribbean during a G7 foreign ministers meeting in Canada. The U.S. has carried out at least 19 strikes against suspected drug vessels in the Caribbean and off Latin America's Pacific coast, killing at least 76 people. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot called the operations a violation of international law, noting France's presence in the region through its overseas territories. Other European officials have also criticized the strikes, calling them concerning and controversial. U.S. defense actions under Article 51 of the UN Charter, citing self-defense. However, independent UN experts say lethal force in international waters without proper legal justification may amount to extrajudicial executions. The controversy has led the United Kingdom and Colombia to suspend intelligence sharing with Washington until the attacks stop, increasing pressure on the U.S. to clarify the legality of its Caribbean operations. Finally, this evening, dozens of indigenous protesters forced their way into the COP30 climate summit venue in Belém, Brazil, last evening clashing with the UN security guards as they demanded stronger action to protect the Amazon and indigenous lands. Protesters wearing feather headdresses and carrying banners that read, "Our forests are not for sale," pushed past barriers and broke a door off its hinges before entering the conference area. Guards rushed to stop them, leading to shoving and shouting. At least 2 security guards were injured and minor damage was reported. Protesters said they were frustrated by government spending on the summit instead of on education, health, and forest protection. "We can't eat money," said Nato, a leader from the Tunipamba community.
We don't eat money. We want our territory free. But the business of oil exploration, mineral exploration, and logging continues.
UN officials said the venue was secured and talks continued. The clashes came amid a week of peaceful demonstrations and growing calls for indigenous voices to be heard in climate negotiations. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nikram. See you tomorrow for more Ignite News.